Welcome to the Binge List. I am your host, Paul Chappell, and we are recapping The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 6, Chapter 14, The Tragedy. And I had a lot of problems with this episode, and it's right there in the title, folks. Why telegraph to the audience what's going to happen? Every other time we've seen a name of an episode, it's been kind of, you know, esoteric or just hinted at what we might expect later in the episode. This just gave away the form. And I was like, really? The tragedy? The tragedy? You know something's bad is going to happen. You know there's going to be a reversal. I was just so disappointed because, for one thing, they arrived at Titan pretty much between episodes, which I don't think it's ever happened before. Usually it takes Mando 3 episodes to get somewhere. So I was like, wow, we're going to meet another Jedi, maybe. So they arrive at Titan. They fly over Stonehenge. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Easter eggs as I'm recapping the show. But yeah, that site, as you can see here, looked a lot like Stonehenge. I mean, come on. But I don't know, it's kind of cool. It looks like a real place. So if you know what this place is, please drop it in the comments. I would like to know. Be cool if they actually went to some place in the California desert to shoot the show. Anyway, Mando puts Grogu on top of the seeing stone and nothing happens at first. And then while he's waiting for something to happen, he looks up in the sky and our second Easter egg of the episode, the Slave One ship. And I'm like, I was totally blown away by this because I hadn't assumed that Boba Fett, for some reason, had a transport. Makes perfect sense that he would get his own transport. Why not? I just saw him in Tatooine. I said, oh, he's some kind of desert hermit now. But that wasn't really the case. So I like this little turn of events. It does bear explaining, though, how he tracked Mando this far. Now, we know from the recap that they showed at the beginning of the show that there's a beacon that an Imperial spy installed on the Razor Crest. So that's how what happens in the later in the episode. Okay, well, let me not jump ahead too much. Mando runs back to Grogu, tells him to hurry up. He has his force field up, which I've never seen in the series. I don't know, maybe the powers of the Jedi once again getting expanded. That was kind of interesting. Mando can't break through it, and Grogu is in some kind of trance that he can't break him out of. So he runs down the hill, and he comes face to face with, of course, Boba Fett, who wants his armor back. Mando asks him if he's a real Mandalorian. He's not. Has he, answered to the creed or something like that, or gave an oath to the creed? He has not. So Mando doesn't think he deserves the armor. Mando asks him, why don't I just drop you here? And Boba Fett pretty much says, because I have a sniper up on the hill. And he hears the voice of the sniper. It's Fennec. And I'm like, Fennec? Who the heck is Fennec? Fennec is one of his bounties from first season. That is Mando's bounties from the first season. So I was like, okay, why do I care that this particular character that I hardly remember is back? I guess because she's a sharpshooter. She has her gun set on Grogu's head, which was kind of ironic because I don't think it would have penetrated that force field. So right out, we don't have. It's not logical what Mando does because the threat is non-existent, because he already knows that he couldn't penetrate the force field. So why would he care that Fennec has the rifle aimed at Grogu's head? But I don't know, maybe he didn't get that far, because before we know it, someone else arrives. It's like, man, there's a lot of people just arriving on this desolate planet. And I'm like, is that a first order transport? A first order transport? Oh my God. I mean, I went back and checked the ones they use in the actual movie, and they're a little different, but it's essentially what we're seeing is a first order transport. And I'm thinking, while this is happening, why did it take so freaking long for them to decide they're going to collect baby Yoda, Grogu? Why did they wait till they got all the way to Titan? They could have got him in the last episode at Corvus. So I don't really understand the logic for sending in the troops at this particular moment. But a big battle ensues. And this is my problem with this episode. I felt so detached when the stormtroopers attacked because they made the stormtroopers such jokes throughout this series. Now, the conventional wisdom tells you that stormtroopers suck. But I actually started to think about it. And throughout the series, throughout all the trilogies, the stormtroopers are pretty badass if you think about it. Usually when they're on side of the good guys, they do very well. You think of when they first appeared in the Clone Wars in Attack of the Clones, episode 2. They pretty much saved the Jedi. They're almost always kick ass when they're helping the side of good. In fact, when they appeared in the Revenge of the Sith, almost every scene they were in, they were kicking ass. And remember, they pretty much wiped out the Jedi. So I don't know why they're treating the stormtroopers as such a joke. I know there's a joke that the stormtroopers are a joke in the fan community, and most of this show is basically fan service, so I can understand that aspect. But you think the first time we see them in the original Star Wars, A New Hope, they're badass. They're killing everybody. When we first see them in The Force Awakens, they're pretty badass. They're killing everybody. It's just a cliche that they are bad. But this scene didn't play out very well to me because of that fact. The fact that they made them in such a joke. I did like the fact that they actually had a commander and they just wasn't running full tilt into fire. But once again, as we've seen 3 times this season, the good guys just blast through them like Swiss cheese. I mean, it's Boba Fett is fighting the stormtroopers hand to hand with some kind of sword weapon, and he's killing them. I mean, what are their armor made out of? Paper mache? I mean, I don't get it. He stabbed a stormtrooper right through his breastplate. And it goes right in. I mean, why? We already know that the Imperials took all the Beskar in the universe. Why don't they give some of their soldiers the Beskar and put them in the front lines as they're charging out of these vehicles? That's what I'm wondering. I don't know. But then I looked at who directed the episode, and I kind of understood why I wasn't feeling a connection with Boba Fett in particular. It's because Robert Rodriguez directed the episode. And if you've seen any of his movies, you almost don't ever care about his characters. I think the only movie he's made where I care about the characters is Sin City, and that was based on a Frank Miller comic book. So you can't even really give him credit for that because he's pretty much following the comic book. So sometime during the fighting, Boba Fett gets his armor back from the Razor Crest, which was a good move because now he's badass again, although Boba Fett was hardly ever badass in the original trilogy. I mean, I think the only badass thing he did in the original trilogy was shoot a rope around Luke Skywalker, and he tracked down Han Solo in Empire Strikes Back when the whole Imperial Navy couldn't do it. So he showed more badass moves in this one episode than the entire original trilogy. So that was kind of cool. He got his armor back. He starts fighting. But then, and this is one of 2 times I actually felt all emotion during this episode, is when Moff Gideon's ship appears and they blow up the Razor Crests. And I should have said spoiler, but if you're watching this for a recap, you already know there's going to be spoilers. So yes, they blow up the Razor Crests. What the freak is actually happening here? Yeah, I felt a lot of emotion. I love that ship. Moff Gideon sends in some Dark Troopers. And I know the Dark Troopers has some kind of connection to the Legends part of the Star Wars universe, the non-canon stuff. And it became very apparent during this episode that they are droids, because you can just see the mechanics of the droids. So that whole thing where I speculated that they might be Force users or something, because we didn't really get a clear look at them in that earlier episode. Yeah, they're droids. There's some kind of droids. They're Dark Trooper battle droids, and it'll be interesting to see what they do with these droids. Apparently, droids are better than stormtroopers, because they managed to get Grogu in record time using jetpacks. They go back to the ship. Boba Fett actually blows up the stormtrooper transports. I thought that was kind of funny for some reason. There was just another attempt to make him look badass in this episode, which he kind of was. But Mando leaves with Fennec and Boba Fett, because he already made an agreement that he would give back the armor if they helped him with the child. And now that the child has been kidnapped, they invite him on Slave One. I guess they're going to help him get Grogu back. And interestingly enough, Boba Fett proves that he's the owner of the armor using the chain code. Now, I hadn't even thought about that since the first season. The chain code was the code that Mando was using to track his bounties down. And if you remember from my recap of the first season, I was speculating what it was. But for some reason, it's some kind of biological thing, because he's able to show in a hologram that his father was actually a Mandalorian. Jango Fett is a Mandalorian. And then he fought in the Mandalorian Civil War, I think he said. So that was interesting. So, but I really would like more of an explanation of what the chain code actually is. So overall, a lot of things happened in this episode. A lot of action bits happened. We had the return of Boba Fett. Grogu getting stolen. Grogu sending out some kind of force message to the universe. So we don't really know what's going to happen with that. But I anticipate some good things. And the fact that such a pivotal episode was not the finale of this season, and instead was this, we got 2 more episodes after this. So the fact that they did this in the 6th episode tells me there was going to be even more awesome stuff happening in those last 2 episodes. And I can't wait to see it. My prediction is that they're not going to get Grogu back this season. So that's just my prediction, though. Who knows? They've done so many things. They've set up so many different outlines throughout the universe. I'm really expecting great things for season 3. So we will see in short order. That's all I got for today. I'd like to thank my subscribers. Encourage you, hit that subscribe button. Give me a like down below. Give me a comment. Tell me something that I missed. I know I don't get all these little Easter eggs and whatnot, but I'm trying my best. And I hope you click that bell so you know when my next video drops. But until next time, I will see you when I see you. Thanks for watching.